Live on a clear late Thursday night in Northeast Ohio. Fourth show of the day for me today. Third show of the day for Dustin today. It is the Bullpen with Bull and Fox live on a Thursday night in the fastest first round ever. They did the entire first round in basically 3 hours. It was like 3 hours and 3 minutes. Way faster than in years past. Just got home from the UCSS studios. Hopefully a good day for the Browns. Obviously a bad day for the Cavs. But let's start with the potential good news. Let's go with the Browns. And did they take the right guys at these positions? We'll see. But for the first time in a very long time, the Browns did draft at least the positions that they definitely needed the most, and we thought they might. Usually they throw you curveballs. They didn't this time. They go offensive line after a trade down at 9. They go wide receiver at 24. They took the first of 9 offensive linemen drafted in the first round at 9, and they got the fourth wide receiver, Casey Concepcion, at 24. We actually had a beat reporter from Texas A&M right at the end of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show tonight, and he spoke highly of him. Spencer Fano goes first. I had mentioned earlier that Sean King didn't love him because he's not sure about the position. He is a little undersized at left tackle. But, Dustin, you haven't had a chance to talk about it yet tonight. So, Spencer Fano at 9 after a trade down. And Concepcion, what did you think of the trade down? What did you think of the pick of Fano? What did you think of the pick of Concepcion?
Well, I mean, listen, once Carnell Tate was off the board,
yeah,
like I'm cool with them trading down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Titans take him at 4, and we actually mentioned that the Chiefs could be a viable option to trade with the Browns.
Yeah,
now, I sort of brought it up just to thinking like maybe they'd want to go after Ty Simpson and try to develop him, as a insurance policy for Patrick Mahomes, who eventually is going to retire, and he's coming off of a pretty serious injury.
Yeah.
But anyway, nonetheless, the Chiefs make the trade. Spencer Fano is the pick. This is a guy that has done a lot. Played at Utah. He certainly was a unanimous All-American. This guy won the what was the Outland Trophy?
Yeah,
thank you. Won the Outland Trophy. He's very athletic. Like this guy is a very, very good football player with a lot of upside. The only issue I have with him is I don't know where they're going to play him.
Well, Zach Jackson.
Go
ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying
I don't know where he's going to play.
Right. Zach said he's going to play left tackle. Now, okay. I didn't know this beforehand, but I found I learned today that, not that it's breaking news or anything, but he played left tackle as a freshman at Utah. And then when Caleb Lomu came in, who got drafted later in the first round out of Utah, Lomu was originally going to play right tackle, and Fano was going to stay at left tackle. But Lomu, who played left tackle in high school, apparently had a tough time adjusting to right tackle at Utah, and so they made him the left tackle and had Fano move to right tackle because he didn't have as hard a time transitioning. So it's not like unlike Jedrick Wills, who played right tackle his entire time in college, Fano did play left tackle in college. So, but they did have him working out at center because he's not huge. I mean, it's funny, as we were worried about Caden Proctor's weight being too heavy. With Fano, it's like, is he too light? I mean, he weighed in, I think, at like 312.
6'6", 311.
Yeah, I mean, 311. That's light for a left tackle. That's light for any offensive lineman. Now, you could be 325, right? Like, he probably needs to put on a little weight. Joe Thomas has talked about that.
You're over 3 bills, Bull. I mean, what 10 pounds?
I guess you think that's fine, 312. You're okay with that?
I think he's fine.
Okay.
I think he's fine. He's 6'6". He is a very, very athletic guy. I mean, we're talking about a guy at 311 pounds, 6'6", that ran a 4.9 140.
That's crazy.
Like, that is insane. Sub 5 40-yard dash, like at that size is ridiculous. It's a 32-inch vertical leap. I mean, so like this guy's dunking basketballs easy.
So you like the pick, it sounds like.
Well, here's the thing. I like guys that play at Utah.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Whittingham's a hell of a football coach. And anything I've heard out of Utah is good things about this young man.
High character
And
guy.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're getting a very good player. It's just, he's going to have to settle into that left tackle role again.
Right.
As you mentioned, he played a little bit as a freshman.
Yeah.
But the NFL is a little bit different than playing as a
No
freshman
doubt.
at Utah.
No doubt.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's a
Listen,
little
he was highly productive in college.
yeah.
He was an excellent college football player. Will he be excellent
Yeah.
in the NFL? Who knows? You drafted him ninth. I expect him to be excellent. Doesn't have to be excellent the minute he takes the field, but at some point, I expect him to be an excellent player. If he can handle left tackle in the NFL for the first time in 3 years, then probably turns out to be at least a solid pick. He'll be compared, again, as I mentioned, 9 offensive linemen taken in the first round, and he was first of them. So I expect him to be the best of them. We'll see how it turns out, but, there you go. So the trade down, I thought it was a great trade by the Browns because they wanted to take an offensive lineman. Clearly, if they had thought about wide receiver, maybe with Tate, but he was gone, you knew they were going to take an offensive lineman. No offensive lineman went 6, 7, or 8. So they got the guy they wanted, and they picked up the 74th pick in the draft. I mean, that's a legit – it's the 74th pick in the draft is a guy you expect to be a starter.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right
And you got a fifth round
around where
pick,
I was
too.
drafted, Bull. Right around where I was drafted.
There you go.
I was a bust, though.
Well, things happen. Circumstances, right?
It is what it is. But,
Yeah.
But
But
ask any of my haters, they'll tell you I was a bust.
Yeah, you're right. I don't call anybody a bust if they're not drafted in the first round. To me, you can only be a bust in the first round. That's how I see it. But
I
anyway,
think that's fair.
yeah. I think it was a great trade. You get a third round pick, which is great. You get a lottery ticket, 5th round pick also, and you get the same exact guy you wanted, picking 3 spots later. So that was a no brainer. Now, the one thing I'll say, and I've heard a lot of good things about Concepcion. He does have a drops issue. He had a 10% drop rate, which is not good. Obviously, tremendous speed, good route runner. He's a elite special teams guy, so he'll be their punt and kick returner probably. But you don't draft a guy in the first round to be an elite special teams guy. You're expecting him to be. I've heard a comparison to Zay Flowers. If he's Zay Flowers, it's a good pick. If he's Josh Downs, which I've also heard the comparison, it's not a good pick. Josh Downs had a nice rookie season. It's kind of gone backwards since then.
Comparisons are hard because
It is.
you're never going to be the exact same. You're not going to have all the flaws of that guy and all the traits, the positive traits of that particular player. Like Zay Flowers is an awesome player for the Baltimore Ravens, and so that comparison we all gravitate towards because it's a good one.
Right.
And he's a hell of a player. Look, he is dynamic. He's fast. He's explosive. Now I was listening to the Browns radio network a little bit tonight. Our boys Nathan and Tyvis and Kenny Carmen were doing the show, doing a great job. Had a chance to listen to some of those guys when I was out getting some food earlier, and they were talking about Concepcion and the fact that he's also a really good punt returner too. So they're gonna get a kind of a dual threat guy that's going to play some receiver and also have the ability to be back deep and return some kicks.
Yeah.
So that is something that's a positive. My concern, man, he's the number 1 leader in drops of all wide receivers in this draft class. That's a concern.
Big concern.
Big concern. Like my first thought was, oh crap. I mean, it's a different round, but is this guy the next Anthony Schwartz who couldn't catch?
I mean, he's certainly more highly regarded than Anthony Schwartz.
Way more highly regarded than Anthony Schwartz. Point being, though, is like if you can't catch, like I don't want to hear that we have to teach you how to have soft hands or how to catch the ball with your hands. You're a mother stinking wide receiver. Like we got to catch the ball. Like that's the number 1 job of a wide receiver is to catch the football. I mean, if they drafted him and they're like, man, we drafted him because he's a great blocker, you'd be like, what? No, your job is to be a catcher of the football with your hand.
I understand the concern. Time will tell if that's something that improves in his game. Jerry Judy's already a receiver that drops the ball way too much. So, and the one thing I'll say, the one thing I'll say is, as Mekhi Lemon was dropping, right? I was like, we were talking about it on the show tonight. And I was like, at some point, maybe the Browns should try to trade up to draft Mekhi Lemon. And I mentioned Minnesota at 18, Carolina at 19, and Dallas at 20. And eventually, Philadelphia traded up with Dallas to take Mekhi Lemon. The Browns were only picking one spot after the Eagles. So in theory, they could have made the exact same offer the Eagles did, which I believe was a fourth and a fifth round pick to move up to 20. I'm a little surprised the Browns didn't offer that to Dallas, because if you're Dallas, you'd rather trade him to the Browns than the Eagles. And then they could have drafted. If they had gotten Mekhi Lemon at 20 and given up a fourth and fifth round pick, I think we'd be thrilled right now.
I think so too. You know, the funny thing about tonight, my son Tatum and we are now season ticket holders of the Buffalo Bills. So
they traded down 3 times.
Dude, he is sick to his stomach. And his mom texted me and said he was like, effing Brandon Bean.
3 times.
3 times.
So they have the first or the second pick of the second round?
Yeah. Pick 35, excuse me.
Okay. What did they get? What did they get? Like 6 fifth-round picks for all those trade downs?
So not that no one cares here in Cleveland, but the Bills got 35. They got pick swap from 69 to 66, and then I think they gave up their 169 and got pick 101.
Yeah.
So that was
that's a big jump.
Huge jump. Yeah.
And maybe, you know what it might be? Maybe they like 3 or 4 wide receivers, and they're like, we'll get one of them.
They didn't have a second-round pick this year either.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do in day 2. So there's a few teams. Let's see. In the second round, teams that have not picked a player yet, you got Buffalo at 35. You got Cincinnati at 41. You've got – is that it? Is it just those 2 teams? Did the Colts have the Falcons didn't have a first-round pick. How about the Jets ending up with 3 first-round picks when they traded up into the back end of the first round again, and they still have the 12th pick in the second round, and they have 3 first-round picks next year. But in terms of the Browns, we'll see. I mean, I think they got a wide receiver and they got an offensive lineman. Now we got to find out how good they are. We won't know that till they start hitting the field. Time will tell. The Browns will have the 7th pick in the second round. Best available players as of now, according to ESPN, Jermod McCoy, who was a great corner 2 years ago, hurt this past year. He's their number 16 overall prospect. He's available. The kid from Toledo, the safety from Toledo, Emmanuel
Warren. I covered him, dude. I think I've done probably half dozen of that dude's games.
Yeah.
And we've my partner and I, the last couple of years have been like, this dude's going to be a first-round pick. Surprised he didn't go in the first round.
Yeah. Do you think the Browns – the Browns could go in the secondary with McCoy, with McNeil Warren, Avion Terrell from Clemson as a cornerback being mentioned here, Colton Hood from Tennessee. Could they double dip at wide receiver? Take Denzel Boston if he's still available at 37, or could they double dip at offensive line? Obviously, you had 9 offensive linemen go in the first round. So I don't know if they would do that at this point. By the way, 4 Buckeyes in the top 11. You know the last time a team, a college, had 4 players drafted in the top 11? Want to take a guess?
I would say the 2002 Miami Hurricanes. I don't know.
Michigan State in the 1960s. I can't remember what year it was. That's how long it's been.
Oh, you know what's funny? My wife brought that up to me today. I totally forgot. This morning someone said something at work, and she's like, "Hey, is Ohio State got a chance to do something like that hasn't been done forever? Like Michigan State did it back in the 60s." And
there you go.
Sure enough, she was right.
Yeah. There was a thought they might get 5 first-round picks because Caden McDonald was at the draft too, the defensive tackle. He's listed on ESPN as the 5th best player still available. So, we'll see what happens. But there you go. All right. Any final thoughts on the Browns draft before we move on to the brutal Cavs game?
I'm just actually looking at who the best available is right now. And, CBS Sports has Emmanuel McNeil Warren as the 22nd overall prospect in the draft.
Yeah. And ESPN has him as the
on the board.
ESPN has him as the 21st overall prospect. So, sounds like he's
right there. I mean, you would
expect him to go the first couple of picks of the second round.
And I really like the corner from Indiana, the Pons kid, Elijah Pons.
Right.
He's available. They have him as the 26th rated prospect on CBS. If they decide they want to go corner.
Right.
You never have too many corners.
Nope. Definitely not. You got to replace Martin Emerson, who was hurt last year and is a free agent.
Yep.
All right, let's switch gears, talk about the Cavs. Just a brutal game. And, what's funny is for the whole game, I thought they were going to win. They were sloppy. They made a nice little run at the end of the first half. It's tied at the end of the first half. And then, the first 16 minutes of the second half, it went back and forth. Neither team, it was like 3 points. It was just a basically even game in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. But the Raptors just exploded in the second, final 8 minutes of the game, and then it ended up smoking the Cavs in this one. The final score, 126-104. Complete domination. The Cavs were down 2 at the end of the third quarter. They get outscored 43-23 in the fourth quarter.
They gave this game away. I
Awful.
mean, this is a game that easily could have been won by the Cavaliers. I'm with you. It was going to be a tight, hard-fought win if they got it.
Yeah.
But to allow your opponent to score over 40 in a quarter, especially the fourth quarter of a playoff game on their court, you just can't do that, man. And they couldn't stop the bleeding because every time that the Raptors hit a three, the Cavs either turned the ball over or put up a brick, and then they couldn't get any offensive rebounds. No, Jared Allen was non-existent on the glass tonight. It was frustrating to watch. Not a ton of offensive production from our stars, and we couldn't make many buckets. Now listen. What did they end up saying was wrong with Scotty Barnes? Is it a calf?
Yeah, I don't know. He was limping around there at the end.
He looked like he got shot.
I know. He played a great game. He and Barrett both had 33.
He did, but I'm you could tell he was wincing in pain, whatever he's dealing with. That guy's going to be questionable for game 4.
Yeah. I mean, the Cavs will bounce back game 4. It was a terrible game. How about the Cavs starting lineup? Wade, Allen, Mobley, Harden, and Mitchell. 3-point attempts from that group, and obviously Allen doesn't shoot threes, but Wade, Mobley, Harden, Mitchell combined went 5 for 25 from 3. I mean, that's hideous. Absolutely hideous. The bench was great. The bench was 9 for 20 from 3. But the starting lineup, 5 for 25 from 3. Evan Mobley, even from inside the 3-point line, was only 4 for 9. He listen, they just all played lousy. Nobody played well for the bench played well. That's the funny thing, is we've been saying they got nothing from the others. Well, tonight they got plenty from the others. Max Strus was great. Jalen Tyson had his best game in a while. Those two guys in particular. They had 28 points. They were 10 of 19 from the field and 7 of 14 from 3. They had 8 rebounds and 7 assists between them, and only 2 turnovers with 2 steals. Those two guys played great. But really,
the
nobody
Cavs
else
turned the ball. They turned the ball over 22 times.
Awful, just awful. And the Raptors only turned it over 11 times. Yeah.
The thing that I take away from this game also is that Donovan, you got a night off, buddy. We're gonna need you in game 4.
Yeah. I think they'll bounce back.
We're gonna need you in game 4.
Yeah, I mean, if Scotty Barnes is seriously hurt, then they got no chance of winning another game.
He and Barrett both had 33 points.
Yeah. And Colin Murray Boyles off the bench at 22. He was 11 of 15 from the field. Number 12. That was Jamison Battle, who hadn't played in the first 2 games. He gets 14, hits 4 threes.
Yeah, he had 2 in a row in the fourth.
Yeah, he had 14 points in 16 minutes.
I was who's this guy?
And Brandon Ingram really didn't do much again, but still, it didn't matter. I mean, they shot the lights out. If you take out Jacoby Walter, who was 0 for 6, one of the starters was 0 for 6 from the field. Besides him, they were 50 for 81, over 60%. And from 3, not including him, they were 14 for 20, which is just crazy.
Well, there's no way they're going to do that in game 2. That was an anomaly type of game.
Yeah.
I still feel like the Cavs are going to get this in a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, it will be a gentleman's sweep in 5.
Dude, the Hawks won again?
The Hawks beat the Knicks by 1. That was
consecutive games in the playoffs where they won by 1 point.
That's crazy. 109-108 the final there. The T-Wolves up by 17 on the Nuggets with 6:37 to go. So it looks like they're going to take a 2-1 series lead also, which is that's another team that's, the underdog in that series. The Nuggets scored 11 points in the first quarter.
I did see that.
And they only have 11. Well, I say they only have 11 in the fourth quarter, but it's 6:37 to go. But they're probably going to lose. They're down 17 in that one. Cavs back in action Sunday, 1 p.m. start. I will be on live after that game. Before that, you can hear Dustin and I. We will be on Saturday morning at what time do we have the Saturday morning podcast scheduled?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. We'll be on live at 11 a.m. We will recap day 2 of the draft. We will look ahead to day 3 of the draft, and we'll have you then. So there you go. So anyway, good stuff today. Good job by Ernie and Drew. Ernie and Drew producing today. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening. Thanks for all the comments. We appreciate all the live views. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Sorry we couldn't get to the comments, but there were just too many. Cavs lose. They're down 2-1. Try to bounce back Sunday. Browns draft an offensive lineman at 9, a wide receiver at 24, on to day 2 of the draft. Until then, we'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the bullpen with Bull and Fox. Brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.